Hi, I'm trumpeter Greg Adams, and I'm live with Neve.
Hi, this is Leland Sklar, and I am hanging with Neve, and I am having the best time of my life.
Live with Neve. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live with Neve.
All right. Here you are. You're live with Neve. That was little Goomby Ortiz kicking up our theme song. Thank you, Goomby. We appreciate it. It's a great tune, as all the stuff you work on is. So here we are. It is a cold day. We're high in Highlands. It's gray. I'm looking outside. It's just cold. No snow. Can't really complain. We're inside warm. And we're having a little Live with Neve pop-up show. Julie will be joining me in a second, and our guest will be also joining us in just a moment. For any of us who grew up in the 70s or the 60s, our guest was everywhere, and his band, which he helped form, for those of you who weren't around, they were the best horn section and still may be, in my opinion, the Tower of Power horn section. Since those days, he has a new musical collective, which I'm going to let him describe to you. For the record, I've been watching the shows they've been posting and posting some links to them. Check them out. I'm going to let Greg tell us where to find him, but I can tell you just look up Greg Adams on YouTube. And after our show, we'll be setting links up in the final cut that gets uploaded. So without much ado, Julie, where are you at? Tell me about Tampa real quick. Hey,
It is. Hello. How are you?
Great. Bravo.
Yeah, it's started raining, I think, a little bit ago. It was like misty, that misty thing, you know what I mean? It's not really
Right.
sure. It's kind of dark and gray and it's misting a little bit, so that's where I was about 10 minutes, I don't know, 20 minutes ago.
Is it hot?
No, it was supposed to be like 82 today, but it didn't feel like that. I mean, it was that cool 82, like, there's no humidity or
Right.
whatever, and it's
Right.
breezy, and it's, like the rain's coming and going and stuff, so
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
so it's not too bad.
Well, cool. Well, we're talking to Greg. Greg is out in Los Angeles, so he's probably got better weather than either one of us do.
Sure does.
I will have to go. So without further ado, from Power of Power and his new musical, the Bay Area Musical Collective. I'm sorry, I may have the. I'm going to let him talk about it.
Great.
Here we go. Here he
Greg
is.
Adams.
Hey, everybody.
Yay, Greg! Hey!
Good to be here today with you.
Welcome.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So how are you doing? What's going on in LA today for you?
Well, not much.
Another day in COVID.
Well, it's been an interesting year, needless to say, for show business, and so we are surviving, and we've kept the band together. It's like we have a system we've done for around the last 300 days. We've done 27 shows in my living room with the rhythm section from my band East Bay Soul, and myself on trumpet and flugelhorn. Once in a while we have one of the sax players come, but our band is kind of spread out. One of the guys is in the Bay Area in Northern California, and one is in San Diego. The singer is in San Diego. We just got a new saxophone player, so he's been for the last 2 shows. His name is Ed Wynn, and he used to play for with Al McKay of the Earth, Wind and Fire Experience for 17 years.
Gotcha.
Great player, and
I bet I've seen him play the last 2 shows. It's really great.
Yeah, he's a great player. I mean, really ferocious,
Okay.
and that's kind of a fighter pilot seat in our our band. Although
Sure.
everybody is a soloist.
Yes.
Both even Daryl, our singer, he's a great saxophone player. So when he's not singing, we have
Right.
a big
A big tent.
it's a 9-piece band. So that's kind of
Yes.
like I kind of if you know me from Tower of Power, you know that I like to arrange for a lot of horns, and that's what I've
Sure.
done with them. And now I'm I'm a slave to big bands and actually big salaries too. But it's okay. But like I said, we haven't worked, so we've been doing our shows in my living room.
Mm-hmm.
And we've raised over $22,000 in
Wonderful.
donations.
Good.
Yeah, it's
Well,
really,
keep it up.
we're very,
Help
very
me.
Doing
fortunate.
something right.
Be
And
generous.
Well, we've distributed it to the band, and so it's helped. Like I said, we had 30 shows canceled, and we really don't have anything on the books till this coming July. So, and I was saying earlier that the last session I did was last February, and it was
Wow.
with Lee Sklar, which I just watched your thing with Lee. He's a dear friend, and
What a wonderful
fun.
guy.
yeah, it was
So
a
much
really cool
fun.
date. It was a cool date because it was an ad for Lincoln Mercury. So and they filmed it. So we not only got our payment for playing, but we also
Right.
got paid for being on film. So it was a double contract, and we got SAG-AFTRA
Nice.
money, which is always better than musicians' money.
Sure.
Union.
Yeah,
And
sure.
and it was a great band. It was Lee, Waddy Wachtel,
Oh,
John Baptiste from the Colbert Show. He played keyboards, and then we had a 3-piece horn section, and we cut it all live. And this guy,
oh, nice.
it was
Bang.
and we didn't rehearse anything. We just kind of let's put this together. And I had the little ideas for the horn parts, and we kind of give it kind of a Dixieland type thing, swampy kind of thing. And Batiste is great at that. So anyway,
Right.
so we did the date and got some big residual checks for it. And then all of a sudden, we're kind of going, well, where are they showing this commercial? Because we never saw it on the air. And then the fickle world of advertising. I mean, they just probably they spent a fortune on it, and they didn't use it. I think that's what happened.
Wow.
I saw one picture of Batiste and the artist who sang, but that was
Right.
it. And I mean, they had more people on the film crew than they had than players, So, but
Right.
that was the last time I worked. So I was glad it was
Wow.
a decent payday as far as that went.
Sure.
But, otherwise, I've been in this business for so long that I have revenue sources from all over the world that royalties from this and that and this and that. So we fared well, and I'm so happy we've been able to help the band out financially. And so that's that. But, it's a great band, and we're on Saturday nights if we can be. Either Friday or Saturday. I usually do a little video blurb during the week when we're setting up for production. It's kind of like you got to do something in this time of down.
Absolutely.
So we do the show, and Monday morning, Andrea, my wife, is on the computer writing me a script for a video. I'm doing a set list for the next week. And it's kind of like a routine. It keeps us, kind of sane. And that's this whole thing about the show. As I say to the folks who are tuning in, is this has kept us sane. Our sanity has been, because it's tough when music is a language, and we get together and we converse, and
Yes.
that's good for us. You don't want to sit in a room and not talk to anybody. So, and music is our language. So,
Well, I think kind of I always say this, we're underpaid therapists for ourselves and for the people that we entertain.
That's true.
As much as we are going crazy to be playing and doing our thing, the fans are out there going nuts. They're watching anything. They're going crazy because as good as all this has been for the video from home and learning to record over long distances for so many of us, at the same time, we're all jonesing to be playing. We'd rather be out doing it live and hanging out with our friends. And, I remember the first session I was going to do right before COVID hit. And we had like one session left to finish a song. And we had to go in and cut a couple of vocals and maybe fix one guitar solo. So I'm like, in my mind, we're going to be done with this Friday. We're going to get in there and we're going to get the 2 guitars and I'm going to sing my line. We're going to mix it and be done with this. We've been screwing around with it for a couple of years. It's just been kicked around and it's time to put it to bed.
Right.
No, I call everybody. I'm like, look, let's just meet at the studio for 3-4 hours. We'll have a good time. We'll get it knocked out. No, I get, well, we're social distancing. And I'm like, oh, come on. I didn't take it seriously at all.
Right.
So I'm kind of like, come on, man, come on down. I'll buy good lunch or whatever. It'll be quick and over. And everybody's like, my one friend, and then I called the other guys, and they're all like, haven't you heard? Well, I had never heard the term yet. That was the first time I heard it, and that was the last time I had anything to do with anybody playing other than, I don't know. We had like a gathering here at the house before things got really psycho, but we were socially distanced, and but we kind of took a chance, but it wasn't that bad of a chance, and we sat outside and.
Yeah.
You've only got one time. I can't totally cover every base. Everything is not safe. And
that's right. I know.
I'm glad I'm here and healthy and glad you're here and healthy. And
I'm glad I'm here too. It's kind of funny. When we do our shows here, it's like, we take the masks off. Some of the guys leave their masks on, but I can't play with a mask on.
Obviously.
Cut a hole in the mask.
For sure.
Don't do that.
I saw a picture on Facebook the other day where a kid was literally he was wearing a mask. He was playing saxophone, had a hole cut in the mask, and his whole saxophone was wrapped in a mask.
No! Oh my God.
And his hands were going inside the mask and to play the keys. It was, and somebody said, "Seriously?" It was like,
get over there, get 20 feet away from everybody. Man. I mean, just spread out. I mean, I personally, I would wear a mask, but not on stage. I would stay safe enough away from the crowd, and the band can be moving wherever they need to be.
Because I need to breathe when I'm playing.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's kind of tough. And then they say brass players can, spew. I guess if that's the best word. So but we've been okay, and everybody in the band doesn't go anywhere but the grocery store.
Right. Same with my friends in circle.
Exactly. Nobody socializes outside, and we don't do anything. I mean, it's just gotten to the point where my wife Andrea says there's a store here in Tarzana where I live. It's called Gelson's, and it's kind of a really nice grocery store, nice butcher and fish, really nice, a little high end, and we'd like to go there because it's good stuff. But she said, well, let's do a date night at Gelson's. We'll get all dressed up and go to the grocery store and go shopping, just to have something to do, because you can go there because everything's closed. I mean, like you were saying, people like us, we love to play, but then you say people love to listen. There's no nightclubs here. All the clubs are closed. Everything's canceled. And they just opened up outdoor dining again. Now, luckily, we have weather that you can dine outside. But, and we went out for dinner. My birthday was last week. So we went and had dinner. Oh, thank you.
Happy birthday. Very nice.
So anyway, we that was like, wow, this is so cool. Like just a dinner, but we really play it safe. Everybody's, I only go here and I only go here, and everybody's fine. Everybody's well, and so we've been okay. And it's been good. Like I said, it's good for our sanity.
Well, as well as it's good for our sanity too. Toby turned me on, Toby Simmons, onto you, and ever since. I've been watching, ever since that, I've been watching you guys. And Toby's great. She sends out invites for y'all, and she's just a really nice lady.
That's great.
And I call her Toby Juan, it's Toby Juan Kenobi. She's sort of a Hispanic version of, the little guy. Has a different accent, Yoda with, anyhow. She's been great, and that's why I get an invite every week when you're on. So I've been enjoying it because it's nice. You guys are always good, and you're just at the level that I have to ask you before we're about to go to break. We got about a minute,
okay.
And I want to talk about it if the answer is yes. Have you ever worked with? I'm having a brain fart. Not Wynton Marsalis. Oh my God, the big band, Maynard Ferguson. I'm sorry,
No, I never worked with him. I met him through. How did I meet him? I can't remember. I play a Monette trumpet, and Dave Monette made a horn for Maynard, and I met him somehow. I can't remember. You know, I've worked with a lot of great trumpet players here in town, and it was kind of funny. This is a bit of a long story, so I can tell it if you want to hear it after the
Yeah,
break.
of course.
But I
Sure,
had
let's.
again
Yeah.
a great
go to the break
experience with
first,
Wynton
yeah.
Marsalis. So
Okay, well, great. We're going to talk Wynton, and we'll be back in just a minute. Thank you very much.
Right back.
All right. We're on with Greg.
Hi, I'm Gabrielle Metz, and I'm on Live with Neve.
All right, all right. Hey, everybody, we're back, and it's about hour, and we are here live with Neve, and we have Tower of Power, musician and killer, just all-around guy. So we're talking music, and we're going to be talking a little bit about some other great trumpet players. We were talking about Maynard Ferguson. So, Greg, let's talk about Wynton, amazing player and always a gentleman.
this is many, many years ago, and Wynton was, I had not met him. Emilio Castillo, this is when I was still in Tower of Power, which I left Tower of Power in 1995. I've gone on to my own solo career. But anyway,
Right.
there was a show on, this is so long ago that we were in New York, and VH1 and MTV shared the same floor in Midtown Manhattan. And literally you walked across the hall and there was downtown Julie Brown. And then you walked into VH1 and there was Ben Sidran. So Emilio and I went for an interview with Ben Sidran, and then we played a little bit, Ben and I, he plays piano. And then, so we were in the green room afterwards, and in walks Wynton Marsalis and his quintet or something like that. And now I had only heard about Wynton Marsalis in those days.
Right.
This is probably 1990, something like that. And
Okay,
I
yeah.
heard that he could be difficult.
Right.
And it was really, the Tude was, oh man, it was a legendary. And he was just,
Right.
he's a little bit younger than me. So anyway, but the guy's a monster. I mean, he plays jazz and classical.
Oh, yeah.
Phenomenally. I mean, he's like,
Yes.
it's a mind blower. And I just like, oh. So he
Hey,
walks
his
in the room.
tonality is like so overwhelming.
It's
Oh,
it's
yeah, I
crazy.
agree.
So anyway, he walks in the room and sees me and kind of looks at me. Greg, is that you? Me? Yeah, it is me. Man, you guys, I grew up on your records. We played them till we couldn't play them anymore, and we had to go buy new ones. I played in bands. We tried to get your horn parts off the record, just copying them and try to, takedowns and stuff like that. And whoever said this guy's an asshole is like, they were so wrong. He's one of the most
Right.
charming guys, and so it was one of those things where myth exploded, it was
Right, right.
it
And
was
that's always nice. You
Yeah.
never know. Somebody might have been a jerk. I talked about that with Leland. He said somebody on a Streisand date might have been a little mouthy, said she was difficult. And his opinion was, no, you were unprepared and you were lame. I would say it was involved, but just he was like, no, she wasn't difficult at all. This was just one of those things. Somebody had a bad day.
Yeah.
And that happens in every industry. But, it's
sure.
funny. So tell me, what age did you start playing?
Well, I started playing at the age of 5, but I
Okay.
really didn't get much of a sound out of it until I was about 9 or 10. I just like to drag it
Right.
around, and hold it and try to get it, And then I I studied music in school. I'm a real product of public school music education. And when I got to high school, I was doing rather well. I was playing good. And we had a jazz band at my high school. I went to high school in Daly City, California. It was Westmore High School. And we had a great band director. And I did my freshman and sophomore years, and they needed a lead trumpet player because the other guy graduated.
Right.
And I was really not prepared to be a lead trumpet player, but they said, we need you to play first trumpet. So I did. And my junior and senior years, I was starting to start writing, arranging things. And that was in Blood, Sweat, and Tears in Chicago, where there were big horn bands at that point. And so I arranged for the jazz band, which was 4 trumpets, 4 trombones, 5 saxophones, and a rhythm section. And so I was doing original compositions. I was doing arrangements of popular songs, and then the band director just said to me, "Greg, why don't you just take over the band and direct it and run it? I'll go in my office and grade papers or whatever." I said, "Wow, what an opportunity!" So
Right.
I had a jazz band at my fingertips, and I just started writing like crazy. And I was going to go to Berkeley when I graduated. And I knew these guys, Tower of Power. They were kind of a band that played at local clubs in the Bay Area. And one of the guys called and said, "We have an opening. Would you like to come over and check it out?" And because our paths would cross. I was in little local bands and stuff like that. So I knew them and they knew me. So they asked me they said, "Well, we're in the studio now working on our first record, and we're doing the horns. Would you like to join the band?" I said, "Oh God," it's like, weigh this, college or get a gig right now. And the band was doing very well locally. So I decided to go with Tower of Power instead of Berkeley. And that was my education, and I could go to school for 5 years and then get a teaching degree or maybe try to get the opportunity that was being presented to me at that point. So I was in the band, and the band started to become very popular, and we got good recording budgets, and we were doing records all the time, and we were on Warner Brothers, and I was getting it right for strings. And so all of a sudden, we were doing little local sessions for smaller acts, but then we did a show on the Queen Mary. It was a Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve. And
Was that 19? Were you with Three Dog Night on that night?
No, it was the Pointer Sisters. George Carlin was a host. Linda Ronstadt, the Pointer Sisters, Billy Preston, and Tower of Power. Well, we met Linda, and she was really a great gal, and so we were all so young then, and so we were at some point that year we taped the Dick Clark show in November, and on New Year's Eve we were in Vegas, and we played, and then we flew back to LA and played halftime at the Rose Bowl that New Year's Day. I mean, it was a big year. So anyway,
I bet.
We got this call from Elton John, and it turns out Linda had told her manager Peter Asher, who knew the producer, so anyway, we ended up doing Caribou, and after that we were just doing sessions like left and right. We practically lived at the record plant in Sausalito, and so then we started touring with people, and we played with the Stones at Candlestick Park, and we toured for like 11 years with Huey Lewis and the News.
I was going to be curious. Have you toured with the Stones or done anything with them in the studio in recent years?
It's kind of, don't get me started. I did, the Tower Horns did Bill Wyman's solo record after he left the Stones. And it was the craziest band. And it was Jim Keltner on drums.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
Van Morrison on keys. Who's the bass player? Oh, jeez. Anyway, Sly Stone was on guitar, and he was about 11 hours late for the session. and we did it at Sausalito at the record plant, and it was all live. And Keltner is like a metronome.
Yes.
It doesn't sway on the time. You set the tempo, it stays. So anyway,
Yes.
and Bill Wyman played bass. What am I talking about?
That's right. Right.
Yeah. So anyway, we started trying to get these tunes together, and it was no rehearsal. It was like flying by the seat of your pants. I'm trying to hand out some notes on some of these parts, and it's all of a sudden Sly stops the band and says, "Hey, drummer." And Kellner said, "Yeah." He says, "Hey, drummer, you married?" Yeah. He said, "Well, yeah, I am." He said, "Well, you better get a divorce because your time is all fucked up."
Oh, wow. Oh, no.
That was,
Kellner, I'm amazed. I'm like, wow.
It was the most bizarre session. And it just was like, oh my God. Anyway,
I have to ask you, how did they kiss and make up, or just move forward? Did it just not get spoken of? How did it resolve?
I think Sly was probably, maybe amped up, perhaps.
Yes, that's what I was guessing. The whole 11 hours late. I just know in those days some people had issues, and
yeah. So anyway, it was one of the most bizarre sessions, but it was about. We were there for about 17 hours, and it was union scale, and we got double scale, and I think it spilled into Sunday, so that's golden time. So I think the amount of money we earned it. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
It was unbelievable. We just went on forever. It was hard to drive home after because it's try to stay awake, But,
Sure.
And anyway, this thing with Elton John just opened the floodgates for the horn section. We just played with everybody. Hart, Huey, Little Feat. We did Dionne Warwick records.
Yes, when you guys were with Little Feat, I have to just say that another band that was a young drummer. I was up in New York, and I'd go back and forth between Florida, and I played in Florida in the South a lot, so I got a lot of that New Orleans education, and it's just a different, it's like getting that groove. It's funny how you cut your teeth in different places, and you learn different things from people in different locations.
That's so true.
And I love that about what we do.
Influences.
So what is, like, of all these gigs and sessions, is there anything that you ever listen to anymore?
It's kind of funny. I like to listen to news radio, when I'm in the car. And I, in general, I enjoy music. I mean, I love music. Music has been very kind to me, and I've had a wonderful career. And for more than 50 years now, and so 55 years. So, I in general, the thing I listen to is the project that I'm working on, and we're in my office right now, and it's kind of an office studio, and I'll get a rhythm track from an artist. That's what I listen to. So I put on the cans and write, fast forward, rewind, and I listen to. And Andrea, my wife, she sits at the desk that I'm sitting at right now. So, and then it's kind of funny. Some of the stuff she'll, oh, that's good. Don't use the phones. It's okay. And then sometimes it's like, all right, it's ready for the cans. Put the cans on. I can't take this anymore. Some of the stuff. It can't all be golden stuff. I mean, sometimes you get a little stinker in there, and I've polished some turds.
Oh man, haven't we all? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've left going, oh my God, I know they're going to call back and they're going to listen to this and they're going to cringe. But they while I was there, I tried to talk them out of doing something as an engineer or producer. Right. And I'm just like, it's just making me cringe. I almost want to give them my alias, which is, my name is Neil Ernest Van Erdy, hence the Neve thing.
Yeah.
It's not because of Prince, but it's one of those funny things. People, the truth is, if you've tried to say my name, Neil Ernest Van Erdy on the radio, hi, it's the Neil Ernest Van Erdy show, and we're here forever, blah, blah, blah. No, And I'm not as cool as Prince. Listen, we've got to take a break. Julie was going to call us out. I was watching you in the feed here going, okay. I was actually doing sign language to her, but
Oh, sorry, I was
she knows it.
oblivious.
I don't.
I was too.
That's all
I'm
right.
too infatuated listening to Greg. I mean, he's just
Yes.
taking us on a journey, and I can't stop following. You're like a mongoose, and with a snake. You just
I have so
make
many.
us so enthralled. Okay, so we're
Musical.
gonna go to break now.
I have so
And we'll
many
be right
stories,
back.
and
Yes.
some I can't even tell until they're dead.
Well, we're going to come back and probe
Damn
that
it.
story. We're going to dig that
Yes.
hole. All
Make
right.
a list.
Here we go.
Make a
We'll
list.
be right back. The
Be
bottom
right
of
back.
the
They sentenced me to 20 years of boredom for trying to change the system from within. I'm coming now, I'm coming to reward them.
Questions, comments, click on the chat box.
Click on the chat box. All right, everybody, here we are. You're live with Neve, and it is half past the hour. It's 4:31 on the East Coast, and we're talking to Greg Adams, who is sitting there patiently in the studio. Oh, Andrea says she's going to come by your house. It's just around the corner. She wants to do a live with Neve broadcast with you playing with your band. I'm kidding, but listen, let's. Susan, one of our guests from New York's on. I have a question for you. Let's bring
Hi,
Greg
Susan.
on, one of the fans. There. Oh, it's you. And
Oh
let's
yeah,
get Greg
you
on.
don't want me. You want Greg.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm back.
I am back. Have you ever worked with Warren Zevon? One of our fans asked.
I have not worked with Warren, the late Warren Zevon, but one night we were in New Haven, Connecticut. There was a great club there called Toad's Place. For
Oh, I
many
know
years,
very
and
well.
we used to play there quite a bit, and he was there, and we had a night off. So I went and hung out with him in the dressing room, just a little bit. I met him, and he was a really nice guy. I really, but I know I never worked with him. I wish I would have had the opportunity to.
Sure. Oh, we have another question from our buddy in Tampa, Florida, a great bass player and artist. Robert Wegman asks, Greg, what about Bill Chase and his influences on you guys or on you?
Bill Chase was the epitome of a lead trumpet player, a screamer, screaming with
Yeah.
high notes,
Sure.
and so that's that was a good horn band for the era that they were playing in. It was a great player. I mean, a great trumpet player. It was a unique band because the horn section was all trumpets. It was four trumpets, so it's like a big band trumpet section. So, it was different. My sound was, trumpet and trombone and saxophones and stuff like that. So
Right, that section.
Mine was more of a rhythm and blues thing as opposed to a rock thing. But
Right.
when we did sessions with all these different people, I could become a chameleon and when
Sure.
I do the arrangement and make it fit for the artist from Dionne Warwick to Heart to Black Sabbath.
Tell me about Black Sabbath. That's something I did not know you did. That just sounds kind of interesting.
It wasn't Black Sabbath. I take that back. But it's one of those bands that's like that, not as big as Black Sabbath. It was kind of funny because we did this session in New York City, and it was like a heavy metal section, and I put the horn section on it. We did it one Sunday afternoon, and it came out good. Actually, it was very cool. And I can't remember the name of the band. It's on my resume. I just can't recall it. And so anyway, we got to Japan. We toured Japan quite a bit. And we got there, and we always did media, and I would get requests for interviews. And so we played in Tokyo, and I had to do like 2 or 3 interviews after sound check before the show. So the first guy comes in and has an interpreter because and wouldn't you know it, they really weren't too interested in Tower of Power. They were interested in this metal band that we had done their record, and they were like huge in Japan, and they just had to know every aspect of the recording session. And then the next interview, same thing. I said, wait, can we talk about Tower of Power here for a minute?
Right.
It was
love
funny.
it.
Yeah, so it was crazy. I remember it's one of those. It's not AC/DC. It's not. Oh God, I'll have to figure it out. Maybe
It'll come back to you while we're talking.
Yeah, whatever.
So, just for what is the most? Have you ever had a session where you went in and didn't know what to expect, and it either turned out way, way better than you had hoped, or sort of went strange? You don't necessarily have to tell any names if it gets too, weird. But just in general, over the course of your career, I mean, I haven't toured nearly as much as you have ever. I'm just a small town guy who's played around, played in local bands, traveled a little, but, I haven't toured the world with my band, and made, the kind of money that, you can make in the industry, especially back in the 70s and 80s before it got so strange with royalties and stuff. What was it? Were there any that you just got there and wondered, why am I here? Or
well, yeah, there was one that we did with Steve Stills.
Okay.
Way long time ago. It was a solo record, and I did the arrangement, and I thought it was really good. And he was running late. I think, if I ever recall, he was in some kind of a custody battle or a divorce or something like that. So he was in legalese hell, and so he called and spoke to the engineer and said, "Just get started. Just get started, and I'll be there as soon as I can." So we did that. We laid down the track, and it sounded great. It fit like a glove. The arrangement fit like a glove. Performance was great. So we're waiting, and we literally were done. We thought we could just go. He shows up, and he starts to take the arrangement apart. And, pick, let's change this and that and that and this and this. And once again, like I say about that Bill Wyman session, we were there until 4 a.m, and it was just the craziest thing. And what we did was, finally, I mean, we were like starting to get our chops were going. We can't keep doing this. And
Right.
So I said, Stephen leaves the room, and I said, "Hey guys, go back to the original ink, the original arrangement." And I said, "Stephen, I made a couple of changes. Check this out. What do you think?" So because we played it earlier, we knew the arrangement. We just played it again and nailed it. He said, "That's it. That's exactly what I was looking for."
Right.
Once again, a good payday, though.
Oh yeah, it's funny. I mean, I don't like to. I've had occasions where I've been recording. Like I had a small studio where a lot of songwriters came through. I'd have a great section of musicians. If they were songwriters, I could build the demos for them. Over time, I had a great clientele of that. So I basically, like on lead guitar day, I might have 10 clients of stuff I'd been working on. And they trusted me, and we had a good working relationship. So I'd just like bring in a great guitar player, and I need a stunt guitar player day. So I'd get somebody in, and we just hang out for 6 or 8 hours, whatever it took to get through all these tracks, various people. And I very rarely ever, because he was just such a great guy, and I just like to hang out, Basically, the sessions were so easy and no stress. He was so good that we'd knock out sometimes, 3 or 4 songs an hour. And I could, we just worked together. It was like fun to hang out. We'd be sitting there out in the sun in Florida, it's getting high, and then go back in and knock the thing out. And it would sound great. And like we'd call the client and send them an email with it, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, this just sounds great." So it was fun,
Well, it's
I paid him
chemistry,
well. And it was like my clients got somebody way better than they had access to, and they didn't have to sit and agonize. It would be like, I've had it happen. I've had a drummer tell me how to program a drum, and I listened to it, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I've been doing this for 50 years.
Yeah.
And I've been playing and programming drums since drum machines came out. I mean, in the '70s, I had all those Sonics. I had drums. Like Russ Kunkel had those 8 drums on the Running on Empty years.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
had those. I wish I had them now. They're worth a fortune, you know. They were gone. There's not many out there. Of course, we have everything sampled on Earth that could possibly
Right. Yeah.
be needed to make that sound a lot easier. And, you know, it's all in your laptop.
Right. Exactly.
But so,
Garage band.
yeah. Oh, GarageBand is phenomenal. It really
Yeah.
is.
Make a-
People used to make fun of it, and I said, no, if you got a musical mind, man, if you can't make something happen with that, you really don't have it happening anyway, because it's a writing issue. It's not a,
Yeah.
you know,
Exactly.
I mean, really, it's not, no, it is not Pro Tools, but sometimes you just don't need it. You can write a great song
Yeah.
and then pop it into Pro Tools if you really need to do more heavy editing.
Exactly.
But if you know, you can say a lot. I'm looking. I just watching here. I think I see a note. Let me just check in with Julie real quick. Yes, Julie, we are going to have to go to break. Gosh, I asked you the question of what was the weirdest, what was the best, what was the session where you went in and you thought it was going to be really weird? Like, have you ever worked with like Michael Jackson or anything like that?
No, I'm not. I'm not Michael. I did like three or four records with Jermaine Jackson when they were kind of splintering, and they all had deals with Motown, of course. And then Motown moved out here to L.A. So there was a lot of sessions for Motown, and the horns are on everything on Motown. So I did quite a few sessions with Jermaine, and he lives in Encino, and I live in the next town over in Tarzana. And you know, Michael, no, that's Jerry Hay. He did all that stuff.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
But when I left Tower of Power, I put together a really good horn section here of the best guys in LA. We all kind of swap, you know, Jerry's guys are my guys, and you know, it's all kind of, you know, tied together. But there's so many great players here. When I left Tower of Power, I didn't really know what I was going to do. And the day I put in my notice, we were in Europe, and the next day, Epic Sony called us. Said, we heard the news. We hear you're leaving. Would you like a solo contract? I said, wow, I didn't even see that coming. I thought I was just going to come back here to LA and be a studio rat. And so I took him up on it. I did my first record, Hidden Agenda, and I did this cover of Sade's Smooth Operator, and it went to number one for 5 weeks, and the album was number one for 5 weeks, and I was gone. I was like on my way to something else, and I needed to do something else, and that's why I left Tower. The last time I played with them was at the Hollywood Bowl last summer for the Playboy Jazz Festival. I just kind of made an appearance, played on a couple of songs, but otherwise, like I said, I left the band in 1995, and I kind of never looked back, you know. I mean, Tower Power is my legacy as far as where I honed my chops, you know. I mean, it was a great musical experience. But, you know, sometimes you just got to do something different, you know. So that's what I...
Excuse me. Well, I'll just ask you, how many gold records have you played on? And then we're going to get out of here because it's that time of day and we're up against the clock.
Okay. You know, I have 5 on my wall behind me, and one is for Santana and Tower of Power, and 3 platinums with Huey Lewis. But I've played on, almost 1,000 records, and I would say a good portion have gone gold or platinum or multi-platinum. So
very nice.
These people were real nice to give them to me, you know.
Oh, I bet. You have a great nice wall behind you, and I'm really thrilled to have you on. You're very, you're great. You're great to talk to, and I hope to have you back on again because we could talk music, and my audience is a lot of musicians. I have to ask you, do you know Jeff Levine, keyboard player?
I know the name.
Yeah, because I know he's played with like Van and stuff like that over the years.
It's funny. Van Morrison?
Yes.
My wife, Andrew, just handed me a note. And if we had time, I would tell this a crazy story about Van. I wish I had time. It's an unbelievable story. But
Well,
if we
how
don't have
about
time, I'll
this?
save it for the next time.
Yeah, we're going to give you a call back after this. It's really great having you on.
Okay,
For everybody who's
thanks for having
watching, all I have to say is check this man out, Greg Adams. He's got his new band, and they are killer. They are on Saturday. Just go to Facebook, Greg Adams Music. I know I've seen you there.
Thanks
And-
so much. And I see on my screen, hi, Toby. Thanks for turning me on to these people. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Toby. Thank you.
Toby-Wan Kenobi, our girl in
Thank you,
LA.
Greg,
She's
for
keeping us
coming on.
moving.
She's right on next door to me as far as, and she's
I know she's in
Encino.
Encino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we love Toby, and she does a lot for us, and she's
Toby.
just a great person. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we're out
Ciao.
of here.
Thank you, Greg, so much
Take
for being
care.
on. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Live
Bye-bye.
with Neve. Out of here.
For bonus content, extras, and all sorts of cool goodies, become a patron. Go to Patreon. Live with Neve.